18 children and one adult killed in a senseless mass shooting at an elementary school in Uvalde, Texas earlier today. And tonight we are learning new information from the Department of Safety in Texas. This also being confirmed on the ground by our reporter that the suspect in today's shooting, 18-year-old Salvador Ramos, was armed with a rifle. He also was wearing body armor and he entered the school firing shots indiscriminately. When law enforcement entered the school, the suspect returned fire. We also know at this hour he shot his grandmother. We do not have an update on her condition. I'd like to welcome in Lieutenant Christopher Olivarez with the Texas Department of Public Safety. Thank you for being with us tonight. What more can you add that you all have learned at this hour?
Right, so good evening. Great to be with you. So as we know right now, the suspect was involved in a family disturbance with his grandmother earlier today, in which he did shoot his grandmother. At that point, local law enforcement received a call of a crash and a man with a gun in close proximity where the school's at. At that point, the suspect made entry into the school. At that point, he started shooting children, teachers, anybody that was in his way. He was shooting every single person that was in front of him. We had local law enforcement, brave law enforcement. That's one thing I want to point out too and acknowledge, that we had brave law enforcement respond to the scene and make entry into this school, in which they were met with gunfire by the suspect. The suspect was wearing some type of body armor, and we had several police officers that were shot. At that point, we had a tactical law enforcement team arrive on scene. Again, they were able to make entry. They were met with gunfire by the suspect. They were able to shoot the suspect, and right now the suspect is deceased. As of right now, we have 18 children that are deceased, as well as 2 adults that are deceased. And right now, we're still waiting on the conditions of the grandmother that was shot earlier today.
Lieutenant, one of the adults who was killed, is that the shooter?
Yes, that's correct. The shooter was shot by law enforcement. As I mentioned earlier, he returned and he shot several police officers that were hit in exchange of gunfire, but the suspect is now deceased.
How quickly were those officers able to get to the scene, and what is their condition tonight?
Right, so as of right now, we do know they're stable. This is still an active investigation. We have our Texas Rangers that are the lead investigators as far as this mass shooting, and we will continue to provide updates as we receive them. As of right now, this is still an active investigation, and we're still trying to determine exactly what the motives were and also what type of rifle the suspect was using. We have FBI, ATF on scene as well, so it's a multi-agency cooperation and trying to determine this investigation in this mass shooting.
What more can you tell us about the gunman and his past?
Well, that's a good question. That's one thing that we're trying to determine right now. As I mentioned, it's still active investigation, and that's why we have multiple agencies, FBI, ATF, local, county, as well as state agencies on scene working together to try to determine exactly what took place and what the motives were for this mass shooting.
Was there a pursuit prior to the gunman going into the elementary school before he crashed his truck?
No, that's inaccurate. That's not confirmed. That's why I wanted to clear that up when I mentioned it earlier, that after the disturbance with the grandmother, there was a call for a vehicle that was crashed, in which they didn't see the suspect armed with a weapon. That was the initial call that led law enforcement to the school.
And can you confirm, Lieutenant, that this gunman acted alone? Is that something you all have determined at this hour?
That's correct. That's accurate.
What about a be on the lookout alert for the community with this gunman? What more can you tell us about what the community had been informed in the warning that went out?
Well, we're still trying to determine that. I mean, it's still an active investigation, as I mentioned, and that's why we have so many agencies involved together trying to determine exactly what took place, why it took place. And as we receive those updates, we will continue to provide updates as we continue this investigation.
Lieutenant, what more can you share about those who were injured in today's shooting? And at what point do you expect authorities to provide the public and the media with another update on conditions and how folks are doing?
Right, so what I can tell you right now, again, as I mentioned, that, I just want to praise the brave men and women that arrived on scene and actually went into this school to try to, stop any further loss of life by trying to shoot this suspect. And also the families, we have to send our prayers and our condolences to the families as well, the victims and the entire community of Uvalde right now. Right now, they need our prayers And we're continuing to work this investigation so we can try to determine the motives, if any.
How did the gunman enter the school, Lieutenant?
Right. So again, we're still trying to determine all those details, as well as trying to determine actually how he was able to make entry, exactly where the shootings took place. As I mentioned, it's still active. We have our Texas Rangers that are leading this investigation right now, and I will continue to provide updates as we receive them.
Do you know, are there security cameras inside the school that will help with evidence?
Well, that's what we're trying to determine now. So it's a full investigation, a very thorough investigation right now that's being conducted by our Texas Rangers. And as I mentioned, once we receive that information, we will continue to provide updates. But as of right now, that's all the details I have to provide. It's still an active investigation. We want to make sure that we provide accurate information as we go through this investigation.
How are the first responders doing? Our hearts go out to all of those who rushed to the scene, the heroes today. For those that you have talked to, how is everybody doing?
Right, and they are heroes. That's a great point. They are heroes because this is an active shooter situation, and we understand what takes place in these active shooter situations, especially involving schools. And again, just brave men and women that showed up on scene that were met with gunfire. And it's just a perfect example of heroism by these brave men and women of law enforcement to be on the scene and to stop further loss of life. Right now, we do have multiple agencies involved. We have victim services that are here to comfort these officers, and especially the families as well, that it's a very horrific scene, especially these officers that were able to make entry and see the loss of life that was right in front of them.
I want to point out to people who are watching at home, Lieutenant, we're awaiting the president addressing the nation tonight, given what has happened in your community, as families wait to be reunited with their loved ones and try to understand what has gone on. What more can you tell us about the reunification process and what you're telling families who have so many questions?
Right. As I mentioned, it's still an active investigation right now. And of course, we're trying to work with our local law enforcement, our local partners, our county partners as well, to identify those victims and meet with the families as well, and also the students that were involved as well that saw this horrific tragedy that took place. So we're trying to offer as much services as possible by working together to comfort these families, these victims, and also the ones that witnessed the scene.
Tell me what's happening behind you right now. I know that the investigation is ongoing. It will take a while, but the school is closed off with crime scene tape. How long do you expect investigators to be out there? And I do understand school is over for the year now.
Right. I mean, our investigators are going to be here as long as possible. They're going to conduct a thorough investigation to make sure that every question is answered, and also to find out exactly why this took place. So they will be out here indefinitely until this investigation is closed, and so we can determine all the details by working with our other partners as well.
All right. Lieutenant Christopher Olivarez with the Texas Department of Public Safety, thank you, and to all of the authorities who are on scene trying to make sense of this. And as you mentioned, the investigation will answer a lot of our questions, but maybe not all of them. Lieutenant, thank you again. Thanks for watching. Click the red subscribe button below so you can get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.